Hello, and welcome back to the one and only Marvelous Videos. If you are watching this video, chances are you are already familiar with this franchise. And if you aren't, I am at least sure you know that Pyramid Head and the nurses are iconic as hell. Pyramid Head is actually a being that represents James Sunderland's guilt and his need for punishment. James is aware of his guilt, but not really subconsciously, so this 6-foot-tall executioner has only one job: to constantly remind James of what he had done in the past. The nurses, on the other hand, are actually a representation of his sexual shame, his sexual desires, and his guilt about sexualizing the nurses who took care of his dying wife, turned into something predatory or evil. Each of the monsters in this franchise has a unique and honestly amazing design that perfectly reflects on their action figures as well. These creatures were in the movie, they were literally in the entry point of the entire franchise, and honestly, the creatures I'm going to be naming on this list deserve every single bit of attention they are about to get from us. But before we begin this list, there is one more crucial thing we all must understand. Silent Hill is not a game about creatures. It is a franchise that is all about people, and the monsters are just physical representations of their worst moments in life. Every creature on this list is one of the people's worst memories and desires, and, funnily, some of these monsters are not even the protagonist's nightmares. This is what makes them absolutely unbearable. So, without any further ado, let us get right into the 5 Silent Hill monsters that are capable of going to extremes that even the Pyramid Head cannot reach. The Lying Figure, Silent Hill 2, 2001. When the entire story starts, the very first thing that James Sunderland sees is the infamous lying creature. This moment was neither a cutscene nor a story beat. You just went around the corner and it was just there, lying on the ground. The lying figure is vaguely similar to a human, at least figure-wise, but it is really pale and slick, while having itself wrapped so hard that some of its skin has started to fuse into something that looks a lot like a straitjacket. Just as you would expect, the lying figure usually drags itself towards you, and if you make the mistake of letting it get too close, it will spit a black, caustic fluid that it keeps on producing, almost compulsively, like it has no control over it. Now, your first instinct might be to just quickly get rid of it because, hey, it is a tutorial enemy, right? Well, Masahiro Ito, who is the art director who designed every creature in Silent Hill 2, actually thought out each and every creature's design to fit the direct expression of James's mind. So, who was the lying figure, you ask? It is, in reality, James's wife, aka his wife whom he has come to save in this town in the first place. According to the Silent Hill lore, Mary had been hospitalized for 3 entire years because she was going through a terminal illness that was slowly and painfully killing her from the inside. It was so bad that her own body had turned into a prison for her. Her skin had tightened, her movements shrank till there was almost nothing left, and the hospital bed kind of became her entire world. That is why, for the lying figure, the straitjacket is the illness. The compulsive black liquid she keeps on making without any control is her coughing fits, the same one that James sat beside. These were the same coughs that James, no matter how hard he tried, could not stop and could not look away from either. The lying figure is immobile, but it is as dangerous as any other creature on this list because it represents how your mind feels when you watch a person you love and consider close die a slow, horrible death. The game decides to show you the lying figure at the very first because it shows James, aka you, the thing you cannot bear to see the most, even though you are just not aware of it yet. Abstract Daddy, Silent Hill 2, 2001. The Abstract Daddy is a monster that requires a moment, and that is because it is not trying to scare you, and once you understand that, your entire ideology about this character will change. You see, Abstract Daddy is actually a boss that you, as the player, encounter way deep in the labyrinth, which is the prison section of Silent Hill 2, and I gotta tell you, it is just as bad as it sounds. The design of Abstract Daddy, if I had to explain it in a few words, it would be 2 bodies merged into one big organism, but in reality, according to the design, the larger body often presses down on the smaller body on something that is unmistakably a bed. The entire creature is also covered in stretched, skin-like material, which is pulled tight over the shapes beneath, making something domestic and familiar into something suffocating. Even 2 vertical slits are shown running straight down the body. And do not even get me started on its movement, because it is very slow and grinding, almost like this is something it has been doing for a long time. In the game, even before James saw it properly, Angela had already shouted, "No, Daddy, please don't," and the game does not explain it any further, because we knew what it meant. This disgusting creature is not one of James's nightmares, it is Angela's oldest and most painful one. Honestly, Abstract Daddy actually helped us understand Angela's character more, and why she was always so hollow and barely present, only searching for a mother who was never going to save her. A lore fact about Angela is that she actually ran away after killing her father so that he would stop hurting her. And Silent Hill made sure to let this character feel every bit of pain and tension. Although the story is sad, I must talk about Abstract Daddy's design because somehow he is designed exactly like the depiction of what Angela's father had done to her. The two bodies, the bed, the skin, giving it an effect of being covered, it looked almost domestic and normal, and this actually showed how abuse can also make deep roots in things like ordinary furniture, ordinary rooms, and ordinary families. I can guarantee that almost everyone will accept that this character's design is perfect because not only is it scary, it is also heartbreaking at the same time. Is it not so scary to think that this monster only exists because there was someone who was just as bad? Silent Hill 2 is asking you to grieve for Angela. That is the whole point of this monster, not to make your heart race, to make it break. Valtiel, Silent Hill 3, 2003. Every monster on this list so far has been trying to do just one thing: hurt you. But Valtiel is not here for that, and that makes him even scarier. In the game, this creature appears in the corridors, in rooms you would normally think are empty, and behind Heather Mason, aka the protagonist of Silent Hill 3, when she turns around. This creature can be best described as a humanoid in robes trimmed in red, deep hood pulled forward with long, thin fingers at his sides, and his head, his head, rotates, like continuously, that too in such a motion that should be physically impossible. The worst part is that if you hate seeing things like that, you are out of luck, because this rotating of his head does not stop. It just keeps turning and turning, and there is almost nothing you can do to stop it. Valtiel is famously known as a stalker too, because he watched Heather throughout the entire game, but he never really attacks her. Here's the reason behind it. You see, Valtiel is not really a monster in the first place. He is actually an angel. Specifically the attendant angel of the religious order that controls Silent Hill. Even his name is not given by accident, because in French, valet actually means an attendant, and El is actually a Hebrew suffix that is carried by a lot of angels like Raphael, Michael, etc. You are welcome, Supernatural fans. Valtiel serves only one being, God, and the God he worships is the one gestating inside Heather after it was implanted inside her by the cult without ever telling her. In fact, did you know, every time Heather dies in the game, or we lose a battle, Valtiel is the one who pulls us back to life. It's almost like he grips us tight and raises us from perdition. Of course, this is Silent Hill, so we later get to know that he does not bring us back to life because he is nice or loves Heather or something. He does it because she is simply not allowed to die just yet. He needs her to fulfill the prophecy written in her fate, and once that is done, he really couldn't care less about her. Imagine being Heather in this case. You are aware that there is a creature that is always watching you while its head keeps on rotating, and although you are aware he won't hurt you, you are aware that you are nothing more than a chess piece to him, and somehow that is so much more terrifying, not gonna lie. Scarlet, Silent Hill Homecoming, 2008. Okay, so let's be real here. We all know that Homecoming was probably the weakest storyline entry in the entire franchise, not just because it was too heavy on action or too derivative, but also because it was also trying way too hard to be a horror movie than actually being one. That is why its poor reputation cannot be blamed on anyone but themselves. But the monsters in this game are some of the most disturbing creatures that this series has ever produced, and I am not overhyping it either. Just take a look at Scarlet. The fight starts with a huge porcelain doll that is, to be honest, quite elegant, composed, and almost serene. It looks like those dolls that your grandma likes to collect and keep in glass cabinets. Like seriously, kids would love to play with dolls like that, and just for a moment, when you see her standing in front of you, you might fear more sadness than fear in the air. And just as you start to feel bad for her, the porcelain shatters. Underneath it lies a skittering, spider-limbed body of fused tissue and ceramic shards, moving with the frantic insectile speed, all sharp angles and wrong joints, and the frenzied motion of something that has been broken and reassembled badly. The worst part is that in the center of its chest, there lies a heart that is completely exposed, like the designers wanted us to know that the heart, the most fragile part of a human, was something that this creature's body did not even fully accept. The way to defeat her is simple. You have to absolutely destroy the interior, but you have to do it symmetrically. That too, piece by piece, and once it is all done, all you have to do is destroy the heart. You might think this is something you need to do to survive, and you are absolutely correct, but at the same time, most do not realize that Scarlet was actually Dr. Martin Fitch's daughter. Dr. Martin Fitch used to be a physician in Shepherd's Glen, which was a town that made a covenant with Silent Hill's god. In this town, every founding family was actually given a free pass from this curse, but in return, every single one of them had to sacrifice a child born in their family. Sounds bad, right? Well, it gets worse. You see, every family had a way to sacrifice these children, and Fitch's method was dismemberment. So I guess you know what he did to his daughter. That is why Scarlet, who used to love dolls, turned into a doll, but inside, the mismatched limbs are what he actually did to her after sacrificing her. The ceramic shards are the pieces of something that was whole and was made not whole. And of course, the heart at the center, that is frantically beating while being exposed, is the terror she felt in the last moments of her life. The game not only makes you feel afraid, but it also makes you feel extremely bad for everyone you need to kill in order to survive. And somehow, I find this to be way worse than killing a random creature. Asphyxia, Silent Hill Homecoming 2008. The last creature on this list is none other than Asphyxia from Silent Hill Homecoming. And trust me, she might be last on this list, but she might be the first one to give you terrifying nightmares. Asphyxia is a creature that is not only massive, but it also looks nightmarish because it has a centipede-like body. But the body itself is made from a collection of multiple female human bodies fused from one end to another. I do not even know if it's okay to show this on YouTube, but goddamn, if I ever saw this thing coming at me, I would unload the rounds on myself. This creature has limbs that are not only long and elongated, but they also bend at angles that they usually aren't supposed to bend at. To make things worse, the bodies that are used to make it up actually rub and writhe against each other while carrying on an unusual momentum that makes it extremely hard to distinguish one from another. As we know, asphyxia is actually a medical term used to describe the condition where a person dies from suffocation, and this name is, as expected, very appropriate because that was exactly how Nora Holloway died. Just like Scarlet, Nora's mother was also part of one of the founding families that worshipped and praised the god, so because she was part of that cult, she was given the same boon along with the same sacrifice. But the one thing different about her was that she did not want to cut off someone's body, so she chose suffocation. This woman strangled her own daughter with her bare hands, and Silent Hill decided to bring this horrifying moment to life by creating Asphyxia. The chain of fused female figures, mothers and daughters locked together, unable to separate, unable to get free of each other, is the visual representation of the cycle, which shows that the way this kind of violence travels through families is like inheritance, passing from one generation to the next, so each body becomes tethered to the one that came before it. This is what a franchise is capable of creating when they know which direction they want to move forward with. Asphyxia is not a creature that is just frightening because it is also really grotesque. Honestly, it is devastating because every part of its design means something, and what it means is unbearable. There is no doubt that Pyramid Head and the nurses are most definitely the main creatures for every fan and non-fan when it comes to Silent Hill, but you must remember, the face of something is never the whole truth of it. Each and every monster that I've put on this list belongs to a specific person, a specific memory, a specific wound that never had the chance to heal. The lying figure is a man watching his wife disappear. Abstract Daddy is a child's nightmare given bones. Valtiel is a protection that feels exactly like captivity. And Scarlet and Asphyxia are what happens when the adults whose entire job is to love you decide that you are worth more as a sacrifice. This is exactly what Silent Hill promises to bring to the table, and it makes sure to deliver it too. If you enjoyed our video, please hit the like button, smash the subscribe button, and ring the bell icon so that you never miss another update from us. And trust me, we are going to be delivering you bangers after bangers, so stay tuned. Until we meet again in the next video, Marvelous Videos, signing out.